days. And I'm one of the last speakers, so hopefully you guys are excited about that. And what we're going to be talking about is really, I'm going to do 2 minutes kind of recapping the mindset shift that we know is so important to start doing some of this community important work and starting to get some of these stories, hearing stories, and having our own stories lived out. So in terms of what are we thinking, which is the first slide, is it coming up? Okay. What are we thinking? It's all about changing the mindset. We know the difference as Edge, the difference between flourishing congregations and ones in decline is the mindset. So what are we thinking? We need to get more children. Is that what we're measuring? Are we trying to pay for the building? That's the wrong thing. Are we needing more bums on pews? What do these all have in common? We're measuring the wrong things.
Yes, we are.
So what we should be measuring is actually an understanding is starting with our why. We keep on worrying about the how and the what, but not the why.
Yes, good comment.
So when we talk to all these different communities of faith and people who are church and non-church, what happened? We realized that why are they here and why are we here right now are two main reasons. Number one, meaning making. We want to make a difference. Every story we've heard is making an impact. Yeah. With us, with others, they on themselves. And then the other, we want genuine relationships. Every single story was about relationship over the last few days. So these two things coming together equal, well, changing the world.
Come on.
And really, we have other language for that. We have kingdom. We have spirit-led. We have all the words that we have, but that's really what it is. And we know that that's what the world really wants. And guess what? That has nothing to do with
That's it.
So, what are we actually hopeful of? What should we be measuring and what's actually important? So, as Edge, as the United Church of Canada, we wanted to figure out what does that actually look like. And we've created impact measurements and a pathway to change that we have seen is actually enabling communities of faith to renew themselves. We actually have 5 other denominations, we'd love more, to actually learn with us what this looks like. So, what is the pathway to change? Are you guys ready for this? Because we started this in the last few days. Because what have we heard a lot of? Storytelling. Okay. Perfect. Nice cue. I like that. Okay, storytelling, exactly. That's the number one thing. We have to hear the stories to be inspired, to inspire ourselves and inspire others. So any way you can tell stories, pass the stories along that you've heard in the last few days, so important. Because when someone hears a story, you have internal leadership. We get inspired that we want to do something.
Yes, come on.
Right? So when that happens, all of a sudden now we have a crew. Right? We can do something. And guess what we do? These things. It's the change cycle. So we do a couple things together. And this is all about the small wins. We've heard about those baby steps at first. You don't got to change the world tomorrow. You know, it will take a couple days. Maybe 7. So what happens is these 3 things can happen in any order. They either start with just an idea. Maybe you've been inspired with an idea in the last couple days. That's an idea you take home, you get your leadership, let's try something. Or maybe the idea starts because a partner comes to you with an idea. Right. It doesn't just have to be ours. Yes. We've heard that a lot, right? So let's see if someone comes to us with an idea and we actually go, how can we be part of that with you?
So good.
Then the next thing is, guess what? This might not be the first thing, it might be the last thing. Your community of faith becomes ready to change with you. We don't have to wait for them.
Come on.
Nice.
We can start building the partnerships, asking for forgiveness, and starting to move the needle.
Amen.
So this cycle of change can happen multiple times. In fact, I hope that cycle never stops. Yeah. Because really, the key is to become an adaptive organization. Because the only thing we know is that the change we're seeing today, there's going to be more in the future. Yes. So what we really want to become is an adaptive community of faith. What does that look like? Well, once you have this, you're going to need to actually change your governance. You're going to change how you make decisions.
Right. Come on.
Because the way we're doing it today isn't working and isn't empowering people to change. Next, we should tell people about it. So when we have a really cool idea that's actually working, telling the story ourselves, getting it in the newspaper, letting people know about what we're up to, because it's actually kind of cool.
Come on.
And then next, new people are going to show up. We've seen this multiple times. New ideas, new experiments, you get in the news, 70 people show up the next week to help out and be part of the community. We know people are craving that. It's all we've heard about the last few days. So when that happens, guess what? The financial sustainability will come. You can't fight it off. It will happen. And then we're able to have more stability for more planning, for the final step being we are actually an adaptive community of faith, ready for the next thing, and encouraging leaders to engage and really, remember, change the world. That little thing we're worried about. So what this all comes together is this yucky diagram you're about to see. That's our pathway to change. So what I just walked you through was the bottom loop that basically goes up to renewal. And we thought it was a theory of change. We've seen this happen time and time again. We've actually funded 400 communities of faith across the country, starting to do this upward pathway. Happy to share this with any of your denominations, with any community of faith, because guess what? Collectively, when we do it together, that is when the world has changed.
Come on.
So with Edge, I really wanted to present this model to all of you guys today, here for any questions that you guys might have. And we do have a video, because we're a partner of this event, knowing how important ReImagine is in starting that storytelling. So that is why Edge thinks that this is so important. So glad that you're all here to start that change movement. But I would love to have the video for the 3 people. And
I never thought I'd be out for drinks with friends talking about the United Church, let alone as an example of innovation. It's a very new experience for me. I run a ministry for Windermere United Church, and this past year I've been lucky to experience and support a lot of really exciting approaches to ministry. Ones that I'm certain are going to have a huge impact for the churches in their